Ever since I saw the first MD-11 in real life, I've been absolutely in love with this aircraft. To me, it is the epitome of what a modern airliner should look like. The proportions are all right, it looks elegant, it's just a beautiful aircraft. And so when TFDi launched the MD-11 back in July of 2024, I was really happy. Now you may remember I actually did a video about the MD-11 back then, and it's fair to say that I had mixed feelings about the product. There was a lot of good stuff, but there was also quite a bit I didn't like so much. Now fast forward to January of 2026, and after quite a lot of updates, TFDi has given us a big major upgrade to this product. In my opinion, basically this is a different product altogether, and we're going to look at this now. I'm going to tell you what I like, what I don't like, and whether I think TFDi has finally and firmly put the MD-11 in the same league as PMDG and the Phoenix A320, of course. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. Now, before we take a look at the aircraft itself, I have to say TFDi has made the whole thing a little bit complicated. I understand why they did what they did. They wanted to give you a maximum flexibility, but just in case you're not familiar, when you go to the TFDi website, you can now choose between just buying the freighter or in addition to that, the passenger version, or both of them. And then you have an extended version, and then you have the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 version. These are all basically different modules, and you can, put them together like you want to. If you are already a current customer of TFDi with the MD-11, then you can purchase the upgrade to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for €4, so about $5, and the upgrade to the extended version for another €4 or $5. So if you want the whole full pack, it's gonna cost you, like in my case, around €8 or $10. And then you have everything that this product can offer you in terms of detail and of course upgrade to the new sim platform. So what's the big deal? Well, first and foremost, you have a brand new 3D model. This is not an update, this is a completely new aircraft built from scratch. And I think you can really tell. I've been flying around this 3D model now for quite some time, and the amount of detail I discover is just insane. A lot of these things are not texture, they are actually modeled. So some of the rivets here and all that stuff, I mean, look at this. This looks like a proper wing full of, it's not super smooth. You have all the marks of a aircraft that has been in service for a while. You can actually decide how old you want your MD-11 to be. We're gonna talk about that in a minute. But yeah, generally the 3D model is just really good now. It is a huge step up from the previous model. I'm not saying the previous model was bad, because it wasn't, but compared to some other developers, it just wasn't quite there. And I mean, look at this. We have all the details, even here on the inlet. Looks really good to me. So yeah, I have to say I'm super happy with the 3D model here. Now, changes were not made to the outside, but also to the inside. So let's start with the cockpit. So they've redone some of the texturing. They've reworked some of the screens here. To me, these buttons now make a lot more sense. So here you can adjust the brightness, and this is much smoother than it was before. It gives you a lot more control. Also, all these switches up here where you can adjust the brightness of all the lights here in the overhead panel and everywhere else is now much better. And again, you have much better control over how bright or dark you want the cockpit to be. And yeah, I have to say it looks really, really nice. I've tested it in the nighttime. I'm not sure how well that comes across in a YouTube video, but I mean, we can try if you want to. Let's just make it a bit darker. There we are. And I mean, this on its own already looks much nicer. And you can see here, we have this nice fluid motion from super bright to not so bright. So that's much better than what it was before. And I really like that. Now, I guess most of the work happened under the hood. So I actually looked at the changelog, and when it comes to the systems, there are over 500 changelog entries. So this is essentially a brand new aircraft, not just in terms of 3D modeling, but also in terms of system depth, the way everything works. And I'm really happy to see that. Again, the previous aircraft wasn't bad, but it just wasn't quite there. And they've taken our feedback on board, and they've really sat down and decided, you know, let's take this a few steps further. Let's make this a proper study level aircraft. And that's exactly what it is right now. If you get the, the Pro version, the extended version, you also have most of the circuit breakers working now. They're also part of, QRHs, so you will actually have to use them if you have failures, because that's another new thing. The aircraft now has a lot of failures that can appear. You can have it on random. So whenever you fly along, you can just have random failures. They can be something really minor. We're just going to the QRH and, work through the problem, or there can be major failures. All this can be set here in the EFB. And one thing that's super interesting, they've now included almost like a maintenance mode. So you can choose how old your MD-11 should be. Should it be like out of the factory in terms of, how well all the systems work, in terms of wear and tear? Should it be medium, or should it be really old and battered? And they actually went and looked at all the components on the MD-11s. They looked at how long they last and which components usually, break down first. And this is all simulated. So if you have an MD-11 and you always fly the same livery over and over and over again, after a while, you will experience problems with components that, just wear down quicker than others. And this will be reflected here in the sim. This is linked to liveries, specific liveries. So, if you fly the same aircraft all the time, this will happen. If you spread it out and fly different aircraft, then maybe not so much. Again, you can set this all up to your liking. Just looking at the circuit breakers here, so it's quite interesting because people don't know this. We do use circuit breakers as pilots. I know on some aircraft it's only for maintenance, but on the Airbus we also use circuit breakers. They can be a part of a QRH. So if you have a problem, you sometimes have to pull a circuit breaker to, solve the problem, or switch a system off that could give you further problems. So it's quite interesting how the MD-11 is designed in a very similar way. And also, I have to say, this is set up very similar to the A320, which I fly in the real world. So the way this is all, ordered with the DC bus 1, AC bus, then we have certain things together like flight controls. Of course, you would never ever do anything with flight controls. So these are not even here. These are definitely maintenance items. So it's really cool to see. And again, the detail, I love it. It's just so cool. Look at all this stuff here. It looks so good. The texturing is good. Everything is great. We've just jumped into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 for the moment. Just wanted to basically look at both options. And yeah, if we look here, let's just take a walk. This is the passenger version now. So if we just take a look here, I'm not very good with the camera. Yeah, the detail again is really, really cool. One thing they said in one of the live streams, which I found really interesting, you can move the sunshades, but it's not just that. The aircraft will essentially move them by itself to simulate, having passengers on board, but it's not random. It will actually take into account the time of day and the position of the sun. So if you have a sunset on this side, way more sunblights will be closed than on the other side over there, which I think is a really interesting concept, and I don't think I've ever heard or seen of that in any other aircraft before. Maybe I'm wrong, let me know. But it's other small details as well. So for example, we can now open and close these doors, but they don't just close by clicking on them. You actually have to have the aircraft powered up properly. And then you come here, you need to release this lever, and then you can click this button here and that will open the door. And the same applies to the cargo doors as well, by the way. But again, you have to follow the proper procedure to, unlock and lock everything before you can open or close any cargo doors. Again, just a really beautiful 3D model. Really like it. And here on door number 2, if you look, we even have the Boeing placard here. This is because this is now an officially licensed Boeing product, which I think is pretty cool. I love all the detail here in the engine. I mean, this is exactly what an old, worn down engine looks like. I mean, you can really zoom in if you want to, all the way, and you can see the actual, fabric of this whole engine cowling. I think this is really cool. Also here, the spinner and everything, each and every blade looks, just really great. Absolutely love the 3D model. I think this is such a big improvement from the previous iteration that we had. So yeah, sorry, I just keep flying around discovering more and more details. So here we are in the freighter version, and as you can see, the attention to detail is insane. So all this stuff here is now modeled. It's not textures. And let me just quickly hang on. I think I can do this here. Payload. Does it work like this? Maybe. We get rid of the payload altogether. Yes. Okay. So as you can see here, by adjusting the payload, I mean, it starts from the back, from the front. So anyway, it doesn't matter. You get the point. And yeah, what I wanted to show is the amount of detail we have here now. I mean, the whole thing here is just insane. They modeled the whole interior. You can adjust the brightness of the lights in the cockpit in the EFB, and this will actually have a big impact on what all of this looks like. All this stuff here is 3D modeled. I don't know if you can actually see this. Let's come down here. Here we go. So yeah, this is just great stuff. And if you just allow me to fly back forward again. So yeah, so this is the control panel for the main cargo door. So that's pretty cool, I think. And I mean, look at this detail. It's all full of scratches and stuff. All the placards here. I mean, you can read every single thing here. It's just so neat. It's I really like it. I don't actually know how this works. I assume we have to go to disarm and then maybe open. Let's have a look. Oh, we have to hold it. I don't know. I probably have to look this up. Let's try this. Oops. Man, the camera controls in this sim. Here we go. That was it. So now it's opening. That's really cool. I love that. Nice little detail. So I think we can actually fly out of here and then come back in here. So yeah, you can already tell I'm really taken with all of this. This is just such a big step forward, and this gives us the immersion that I missed a little bit in the previous aircraft. And again, it was a really cool product and I enjoyed it, and I actually flew it quite a lot. But this is just, I mean, this is miles better. And like I said earlier, it's not just visual stuff. The systems are way more detailed. You can now download QRHs and checklists, and they actually mean something, because if things go wrong, then you have to work your way through it, and the systems will respond exactly the way they do in the real world. So to me, this whole product, this is just a completely different kettle of fish. This is just, I'm happy to pay the €8 I did, because to me this is not an upgrade. This is just a brand new product. It has a different feel. It looks different. There's just so much more going on. Yeah, I'm super happy with this. For those of you who are very interested in the sound, like I am, good news, they've reworked the sound as well. To be fair, I never thought the original sound was all that bad. And of course, now that we have both engine variants included, we have both different sound sets included as well. So you have the GE sound set and the Pratt sound set. So I've been full of praise for this aircraft, and I think deservedly so. I mean, to be honest with you, flight model, I know they've reworked the whole flight model. I've done literally one flight in this, one takeoff, one landing, a bit of flying around, just to get a feel for the aircraft. So I don't want to go into too much detail about that. I need to fly the aircraft a little bit more, give it a bit of a chance. But still, I think there are two things I personally think could be addressed and could be improved. These are not deal-breaking things, let's just talk about it. So number one is the installer. So the installer to me is just outdated. You download it, it's one little screen, you type in your code, and then it just installs the product, and that's it. All the other manufacturers, developers, especially in this price range, they give us like a hub, if you like, where you can manage your installation. Maybe you don't want the freighter anymore installed, or like one example. So each 3D model comes with two versions: a high fidelity interior, which is what I've just shown you now, or a low poly interior. If you're not that bothered, if you just want to be in the cockpit, or if your PC is struggling with performance, why not give us the opportunity to choose which ones we want to install? And it would also give us the opportunity to have a livery manager. Again, you have to go to their website, you have to download a zip file, manually drag it into the sim. Again, there's no explanation on how any of this is done. I mean, I know most of you know how this is done, but again, this is not a cheap product, and to expect that people, should just know how any of this works, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. Fly-by-wire, PMDG, Phoenix, they all give us these really nice hubs where we can manage all our installations and our products. And I feel like, a product of this quality would deserve the same, and it would make it much easier to update all the liveries. If there's another update to the 3D model, then I don't know, maybe it would be much easier to update it through a livery designer or something like this. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and you might think I'm nitpicking now, and I don't know, maybe I am, but I don't know if you can see this, but sometimes there's a bit of a gap in certain parts of the interior model. So let me just close the main door. I think this should work. Yes. And I don't know, this might be very hard to see. But if we go here, I don't know if you can see that. You can actually see to the outside. Here. Yeah. So there's definitely a gap here, and when the door is open, there was a gap with the frame. I mean, I know this is very nitpicky stuff. We are talking about a door of an airliner, we're supposed to be in the cockpit, but again, they when they talked about the product, they spent a lot of time talking about the interior modeling, how much time they spent. So I feel like maybe this could be fixed. It's, I would imagine, not a difficult fix. Just put a plate behind here in black texture, and then that's that done. I would imagine that should do the trick. To me, these are small things, but I just wanted to point them out because I did notice them. And That's basically all I can say. Apart from that, I'm super happy. So this to me is now a really, really good product. If maybe they can update the interior models around the door slightly to fix the gaps, and maybe if they could sit down and think, about giving us some kind of a TFDi hub where we can install liveries, update them, maybe, some of you might have the 717, not just the MD-11, so you have everything in one place. I think that would be great and would nicely fit in with all the other developers out there that offer the same kind of thing. So before we finish, there's one more thing which unfortunately I can't show you because for whatever reason my capturing software is not filming it. If you have the extended version, it comes with an app that connects to your sim, and if you do have a failure, then after landing you can call maintenance and they will actually take care of the problem. But it's not just this. If you just have normal wear and tear, you can call maintenance and they will inspect specific parts. So if you want to tell them, please inspect engine number 1, they will do so, and they will then send you a full report about the health of the engine, and you can then tell them, okay, let's change the oil, etc., etc. And if you do this, then obviously you avoid any failures. And to me this is really cool because that means you're not just flying a plane, you're actually looking after it. So if you have a favorite livery, a favorite aircraft, and you just fly that one, then you can use this feature to maintain it, to look after it, to make sure it will always be reliable. And that to me again is one of those immersion things that the initial product just lacked. And so this again it may sound silly, but for some reason I'm usually not into this kind of stuff, but here it just really works. The idea that I can maintain my own aircraft, I just really like that. So where does that leave us right at the end? So you have to pay, €8 to get the full package, to have the full upgrade, and of course the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 version. For me, fine, because this, I can tell, a huge amount of work went into this product. It feels like a completely different product. It feels like a different aircraft. The 3D model upgrade has been amazing. Like I said before, over 500 changelogs, in terms of systems. We now have working circuit breakers. We have failures. We can call maintenance to look after the aircraft. There's all sorts of things. We have really cool interiors. We can operate the doors from the inside in a realistic manner. We have window shades that react to the sun. It's now officially licensed. Apparently, in one of the developer streams, they said that if you open a door above 14,000 feet, you can actually see the oxygen masks drop from the ceiling. I haven't tried that yet, but that sounds, I wouldn't say it sounds fun, but maybe something to try at some point in the future. And all the other things I've talked about, you now have wear and tear in a realistic manner, and you can look after the aircraft. And I just, like I said, the only two things I could find were those tiny gaps around the door. And in my opinion, the installer is a bit outdated and could do with a bit of updating and bringing it more in line with the other manufacturers. But those are really nitpicky things. So this to me is just so much better than what we had at the initial release. I'm really happy with this. As someone who really loves the MD-11, who's always thought this is such a beautiful and amazing aircraft, this makes me very happy. And I'm really glad to see that TFDi has taken all the feedback on board. They sat down, they really got to work. They turned this into an amazing product. And you may hate me for this, or you may strongly disagree, but I honestly think this is now in the same league as a PMDG 777 or a Phoenix A320 for sure, because the amount of detail and all the system depth that this aircraft has now is just, it's really, really good. And I'm so happy to have this in my hangar. So before I let you go, a quick question. Would you be interested in a short video that will show you how to do a quick startup to get this aircraft going? Because it is quite complex. There's a lot more going on than on the A320. I'm not planning to do a deep dive. I'm not an MD-11 pilot. But who knows, maybe some of you will be interested in just a short video where I talk about how to do a quick startup, load the SimBrief flight plan, and get you up and running fairly quickly. Something like that. If you find that idea useful, then let me know in the comments, and then, we'll make it happen. And just like that, we have reached the end of this video. So I hope you found it useful. I hope you found it interesting. Again, a bit unusual. We don't usually do reviews on this channel. And I kept it short. I didn't want to talk endlessly about all the systems. I just wanted to give you an overview. And this is one of my all-time favorite aircraft. I thought it deserves a spot on my channel. So anyway, if you're thinking about the MD-11, go for it. It is different to anything else we have. If you don't always want to fly a Boeing or an Airbus, then this is definitely something you should look at. Really unique aircraft, a lot of fun to fly, and just something very special and in my mind very beautiful. So okay, thanks for watching. Thank you for all your support. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Until then, all the best. Bye-bye.